Yeah, so as I was saying, we've now got the basic room. Let's swing around and have a look. I'm pressing down on the scroll wheel, getting the orbit tool, and if the model ended up off the screen or part of it, then I would roll my finger onto the left hand button and get the pan tool, move the thing around. Now this going to make a couple more changes to the appearance. First thing I'm going to do is to get rid of the axes. I find them quite distracting and not particularly useful at this stage. We've already got a pretty good idea of which way is up. Just remember that red is going across the front of the kitchen. That might be useful to remember. So, view, we'll uncheck axes and they'll disappear. That's better. And another thing, for some reason the SketchUp by default draws quite heavy lines. I can get rid of those by Window, Styles, that's Windows Style, Edit, Edges. Currently they're 2. I'm going to swap that to 1, press return and see we've got some much thinner lines. I probably won't need that window again, so I'll get rid of that. Now, one of the things that's quite useful is the Z key. If I press Z, it'll zoom in and it'll fill the window with the model. And that's a shortcut. There's also this button here, zoom extents, that will do the same thing. When you're actually viewing a model, it looks like I'm swinging the model around here. What I'm actually doing is I'm actually swinging the virtual camera around. Imagine it's a bit like the camera in a drone. It looks as if the model's turning. It's not, it's the camera. That doesn't really make any difference as far as you're concerned at this stage, but it might later. Right, now we're going to get to the interesting part, which is the kitchen design. And this is where the fun will start. This is what we've been building up to. Now, kitchen design is all about subtraction. We have a fixed space which we can't do anything about unless we're prepared to knock walls down. We have a fixed space, and there'll be certain fixed features, and we'll need to subtract the space that we want. Will be what's left when we've subtracted the fixed features from the overall space that's available. At this particular kitchen, the clients already have a relatively new range cooker, and it's 900 wide, and we'll assume it's 915 high. I mean, they usually got adjustable feet, and we'd obviously want to adjust it to be the same height as a worktop. And being a standard machine, it'd be about 600 deep. So I'm going to draw in that range because it's in a fixed position. You'll see why in a moment. So I'll just pick any point along the back line here. Now, when you go to draw a rectangle in SketchUp, you can't always know which dimension is going to be first. If you look down at the dimension box, you'll see that the rectangle is obviously one way is longer than the other, and it's saying that 2000 odd by 1129. So obviously the first number is the number, the width of the unit, which in our case we want it to be 900, and put in a comma, and we want the depth to be 600, and we know that the height's going to be 915, so I'm going to use the push-pull tool, pull it up a little bit, and then enter 915. You saw it jump up, and I'm now going to make this into a group. And I think just to show that it is an appliance rather than one of the cabinets, I want to, I'm not going to bother to draw rings and things on it, so I'm just going to press the B key. That will give me my, this B for bucket, paint bucket, and I think I'm going to do this one in a metallic color. So we'll scroll down till we get to the metal. Then I'll open this, select it all, what should we have? Rough metal, so it's fairly dark one, that'll do, and perhaps I'll just make that a little bit lighter in colour. We'll pretend it's brushed stainless steel, which the actual unit is in this case. Won't need that again for a little while. And for fairly obvious reasons, this cooker needs to go exactly in the middle between these two windows. That's because the cooker hood is already there, and it's, for aesthetic reasons, exactly in the middle. So I need to find the middle between these two windows, and the windows are not actually in the middle of the wall. You can see they're not symmetrical. The gap there is less than it is here. So the easy and quick way to do it is I'm going to draw a temporary line here. Then I'm going to get my tape measure tool, and I'm going to let the tape measure tool find the center line. Then I'm going to press the the left-hand button and leave the line. Now I've now got a center line between the two windows. I can get rid of the line here, the temporary line. You'll find yourself doing this a lot, drawing temporary lines, guidelines, etc. Makes life a lot easier. And now I need to position the cooker itself. So I'm going to use the move tool for this. And you'll notice that the move tool sort of auto selects whatever you're hovering over. You see that wall going blue, floor going blue, or blue edges rather. But what I want is this. I want this unit, and I make sure that that it is the cooker that I've got. And by moving along gradually, I've found the middle of the cooker. Now, as long as I get the middle of the cooker on that line, it says on line, there we are. I know that that cooker is exactly centered between the two windows. Now I can get rid of the guideline. Let's Control and D. And I think I'll put some worktops in now. Doesn't matter which order you do these things, because these are all going to go onto layers, and I can turn them off anyway. Now I could enter 915, or I could let SketchUp find that line, and it's telling me 915. That's given me a guideline. Now I'm going to go down 40 from there. Now you see that? You notice that that line is green. That's because I'm going out from the wall. And you need to watch these colours of the guiding line, because otherwise you might end up drawing in the wrong axis. So I'm going to move it around until the line goes blue. That's the up and down, because what I'm actually drawing in is the thickness of the worktop itself. So enter 40. This client is chosen to have a wooden worktop, and I know that it's 40 millimeters thick, and I also know that it's 620 millimeters deep. So it's going to be a little bit deeper than by deep I mean from front to back, it's going to be a little bit deeper than the cooker. So use the rectangle tool by pressing R, click on the top one there, click on the bottom one here, and I'm going to use the pull tool. I'm going to come out quite a long way. As you know, I like to exaggerate these things when I'm entering an actual dimension. So I like to see it move, and I know that has actually happened. Sometimes, for some reason or another, it doesn't actually happen. You think you've entered a dimension, and something went wrong, and unless you've actually exaggerated the movement, the required movement, and watched it change when the dimension went in, you can't be absolutely certain that that's what actually happened. Quite often, when you go around a kitchen design and you measure this and that, if you find a strange number, then there was some kind of mistake made. Virtually everything that I'll be doing will be to the nearest 5 millimeters. Right, now this is a worktop. I'm going to select it, I'm going to make it into a group. I don't think I'll bother colouring it yet. There are wood colours available, but I'm just going to leave it plain for the moment, and I'm going to create another layer, worktops, and I'm going to put this on the layer, on the worktop layer. It means I'll be able to get rid of it, make it invisible whenever I wish. Okay. Now, this is something you'll see me do quite a lot. Rather than draw one from scratch, I'm actually going to borrow this one with the move tool. I'm going to press Control first, see the little plus there. I'm going to move this one along to here. Obviously it's not the right length, but that doesn't matter, because I'm going to turn the utility wall off. Now it didn't go off, and do you know why? Yes, that's why, because I didn't put it on the utility wall layer. But I have now, and because that is unchecked, it's disappeared. So this is a group, obviously that's a group. I've copied it over to here, so I can't simply pull that out. So what I have to do is to open it with a double click, pull it out, and I'm going to pull it level with that corner. So now I've got another worktop. That was quicker. You can do this a lot in SketchUp, just copying things and modifying them if you need to. I'll put the utility wall back, and I also want to have a worktop on this wall. It's basically going to be an L-shaped kitchen, and there's various ways I can do this. If I'd already coloured this and already got some nice grained material on this, what I might do is I might choose to use this and copy it. So I might, for instance, press on Q, get on that point there. You'll notice this is a rotate tool. This is quite a useful tool. On different surfaces, so you notice it changing colour. I want it to be parallel to the floor, so I'm going to hold it on the floor, hold down the Shift key to lock it, bring it up to that corner here, make sure I'm right on the corner itself, click once, click it twice, bring it round, and while it's moving I press the Control key to leave a copy, and watch. It should snap to 90, but just look down in the box there and you can see that it's gone on to 90. And now I want to set the length of it. I'm going to use a push-pull tool to do that. And I don't want it level with the door, obviously, but I'm going to set it in. Whoops, moving the wrong thing. Press Control and Z to go back. I just repeat what I did there. I was sort of humming and hawing, and by accident I started to do this. Started to move the wrong dimension. So I used the Control and Z key. Now, how far? The door, by the way, this is not the door itself. This is the door reveal. This is the actual cut in the wall itself. The door frame is within that, but I didn't bother to model the door frame because I'm not interested in it. Obviously, I can only go as far as the edge of the door itself, and I'm going to set this worktop in about 30 millimeters. Normally I'd go for 50, but I want to have as much length in this piece of worktop as possible. So I'll set it for 30. I'll just repeat what I did there. It's already on the edge, so I'm going to move it by 30 millimeters in that direction. Click somewhere else to close the group, and now because all these worktops are copies of each other, they're all on the same layer, I can get rid of the guidelines. So now I've got my cooker and my worktops, and I'm ready to start putting some units in.